a little on our journey, as Gina said, that the way we got here was actually Baryushin. Randomly, Keyur one day asked, why roots? Why in Jainism do we give up roots? And in understanding the philosophy behind that, he was like, well, why not dairy? Why not yogurt? And that's kind of how the path towards veganism with us started. I looked at him like he was crazy. I had just found out that I was expecting my second, and I said, dairy, we need dairy, we need ghee. These are things that we were raised to think is a form of calcium, how we get our nutritional needs. And so especially being pregnant, I wasn't ready to give up dairy at the point. And so Keyur said, you know what, why don't you do your research? And this is the path that I'm going to choose. And in that, I guess my eye-opener was realizing as I was pregnant, the way milk came about was through pregnancy. And it was a special bond between mother and child to be able to nurse a child to health. And realizing that along the way, your body makes milk as the baby needs it. The first day it's born, it has a different composition than when a child is 6 months old. So I realized that as a 30-year-old, do I really need milk? If I'm not taking it from my mother, if there's not something creating it for me, is it a necessary item? Is it a need? And then I was fortunate to be with Kaiser, not realizing that they have started to promote plant-based diets. So I asked my pediatrician, and she said, I don't see a need in increasing dairy during a pregnancy. And I did my own research, found out that leafy greens was a great source of calcium. So during my pregnancy, I would do a lot of greens, a lot of nuts, fruits, vegetables, lentils, our Gujarati food all the time. And I had a wonderful pregnancy. The kids were all born over 7.5 pounds. They've had multiple blood tests, iron levels checked. They are crazy, energetic. I can't keep up with them enough. They are never tired. We have to force them to sleep. But in myself, I realized that when I did have dairy, or a heavy cheese meal, or something, I needed a nap right after. I don't know about you, but I felt heavy. I felt like I couldn't move right. I'm like, I'm in my 20s, Switching to a plant-based diet, I don't feel that way anymore. I feel how I think I should feel. We actually, Keyur has lost over 30 pounds since being on a vegan diet. And he's gone from high cholesterol to a normal cholesterol level. I was borderline diabetic. That issue, just by diet alone, no medication. The interesting thing is, when I was pregnant with my second, they found fibroids, and we went back and forth whether to surgically remove them and not remove them. 3 years later, after completing the pregnancy and nursing and everything, we went back and the fibroids were completely gone based on the diet. So it just, it's kind of, you are what you eat. These beautiful creatures, they are beautiful cows. They also weigh 2,000 pounds and upwards. So their milk is to help their calves to reach that weight. And our milk is to help our children be below 130, 130 pounds. So we are what we eat. We need the foods that our bodies are meant to have. And a plant-based diet, I believe, has helped our family grow beautifully. Along with that, I also wanted to mention one more thing. the pediatrician was, and she said this on multiple occasions, that I cannot believe that your children have never had an ear infection. I cannot believe they have never been on antibiotics, because there hasn't been a single child that's walked into my room that hasn't. And so she says, I love that they're broccoli eaters. But it's really, I feel, a disease-proofing way to be on a diet that is plant-based and not hormone-based, not something that comes from an animal, which has a liver, which produces cholesterol. So, you know, aside from what Sanjay showed us that happens to the cows, that they are impregnated over and over and over again just to produce the milk. But for us, ourselves, the harm that it does to our own bodies and the environment, as Sudhanshu was saying. And there's multiple factors, multiple levels that, you know, with everyone's help and effort together, we can definitely do this, yeah.
Hi, Jejinanda. Yeah, so just wanted to share a little bit. Our journey for veganism was started for the ethical reason, and it's still a big reason. And then it became, found out inadvertently, Shilpa's father had a heart attack and had stents put in, and then researching more into that, found out more about the health issues. And, you know, and definitely, I mean, you can be vegan and you can still get sick and stuff, so it's not a cure-all for anything. You know, you still have to be smart about what you eat. Being vegetarian, you still have to watch what you eat and everything like that, you know. So, but it's an easier path, you know. Like, you don't have to worry so much once you figure out everything. The beginning might be hard, but once you figure a lot of that stuff out, it's actually not that bad at all. And you'll find that there's a lot of new foods that you may never realize were out there that you may like, because just when you go down one path, you might realize that these are the only foods that you're used to, but once you realize that there's a whole world out there, that, you know, there's a range of restaurants out there, range of like items you can find at the stores and new recipes. So if you go down the suggestions, we did it for Paryushan, you know, if it's coming up, so try it, you know, and you'll find out. Just commit for that 2 weeks and see what you can do. And when you do that, you'll really force yourself to find the alternatives, find new products, and make it a fun journey. You know, make it a challenge, make it something interesting, something you look forward to. You know, find new recipes. There's so many people online that, you know, so many things online that you'll find it'll be a real fun adventure. You know, I just want to add one more thing. You know, and even if you don't go from vegetarian to vegan, but just stay in touch with kids and, you know, make it known to them, because even going forward, like, you know, eating meat may be attractive to them in school. So, you know, even staying vegetarian is a challenge. You know, so talk to your kids. Don't hide from the truth. Let them know what goes on. You know, the kids, you'll find, are very compassionate and they like to know what happens. And don't be afraid to tell them the truth about what really goes on, and they'll appreciate that too.